Okay, hi guys. So today is day 6, and you know, right now it's actually 12 o'clock. Yeah, it's midnight. Because I actually today I'm celebrating a Chinese New Year the whole day. So yeah, but the road to GMs goes on. So yeah, I have to do this right. Although it's a little bit late. So we're doing the same thing here, using the same book here, Secrets of Chess Training. All right, and this game was played between um, Ax Exmislovskaya versus Alexandria. Alright, so before the game start, please do prepare yourself because this end games might be a little bit long and a little bit complicated. Alright, and without further ado, let's start. So first of all, black has a large and probably winning positional advantage because his pieces just much more active, and white have some weakness here, right? D4 and H2 pawn. Yes, you could also say that black have some weakness, but in my understanding, currently is black is the one who attack, and so the weakness is just much more easy to exploit than black pieces, and knight and queen is a very nice combination usually to attack a king, and right now they are both attacking the king, so in this position black is just better. Alright, this is clear. So in this position, okay, so it's in check, right? You have many moves here. Obviously not queen c2, you just hangs a knight. Right, knight c2, also losing after knight c3, king a1, queen d1 is actually checkmate. Right, so alright, let's look at the move one by one. So again, not king a2 because you're allowing knight c3 with a check. Alright, so let's see. It's also to like reveal to king c1, right? Because black can actually take the h2 pawn right away with knight e3, and before we're threatening checkmate. Alright, so check, check, and take the pawn. But actually, it's more accurate to play king h7 in this position. The idea is we play for Zugzwang, right? And any white move worsen her position. For example, after knight c2, you check, check, and if king d3, then alright, just take the pawn. And if king d1, knight e3 check, and we actually win the queen, or I don't know, or I guess there's some checkmate here or something, I guess. Yeah. So um in this position, let's say you play king c1. Okay, queen g1 check. Then again we take the h2 pawn. So yes. So in this position, let's say right, let's say you play knight b1 in this position. Check. And after here, check, check, and again we win the h2 pawn with a check. Alright, so there only remains king a1 in this position. Alright, and there's a long analysis here, so let's see. So, okay, the first question is to evaluate king and pawn in game, right, with a pawn up. So, Let's see. So knight c3 here. Right, the idea is to go check, but there's a nice move here, knight b1. Wait. Alright. So the first thing is to evaluate the king and pawn ending with a pawn up. Takes, takes, check. Queen b2, good move. Takes, takes, and it's actually a drawn king and pawn in game. Right, king g8, king c3, king f7, here, 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 king d7, right, and then king b6, good move. G5, let's say. Then now we play h3. Right, actually h4 lead to the same thing, I guess. But okay, h3, g4, h4, and now king a5. Basically, only move I believe, because king c7 there's king c7, king 8, king c5 there's king c7. We get the opposition, so king a5, and it's actually draw. Right, it's actually draw. So hold on. So um right. Now let's evaluate the queen ending. Instead of trading the queen, you keep the queen with queen d5, queen f2, or queen e2. Right, so let's see queen f2 first. c5, king b2, c4, queen e2. Right, if queen e2, then c5, king b2 here, king c3. So seems like black cannot win without bringing her king. Right. So white definitely have some chances to give partial check if the king go up. Right, so in this position, instead of knight takes b1, there's a good move, knight b5 here. Attack d4 pawn. So yeah, actually now we just win a pawn again. So now we ask ourselves again, who the exchange of queens favors. It turns out that after queen d2, takes, king b2. Now again, it might be a draw because with two weakness here, and white can bring her king much more easier. So um, so let's say in this position, instead, maybe queen c4 is the better idea, right? And we want to play knight takes d4 followed by c5, right? Or wait a second. Yeah. So okay, in this position, let's say he could also play king here, knight takes d4, queen c3. Again, you want to force a queen trade, but now we can play queen a6 check. Queen e2 is also possible, but queen check, check, c5. And now, okay, maybe black is better, but maybe in this solution, knight b1 is not the strongest move. Alright, so now let's try queen b4 here, and now we can play queen d2, queen b2, takes, knight b1, again, exchange of queens is unavoidable, and we have already decided that exchanging queens complicates the realization of the advantage. So let's say in this position you play instead knight e2. Okay, now king b2. Knight takes and now queen c4 good move. Here, here, and also it's unconvincing. Again, white managed to res restore coordination between her pieces, and now our pawn is a little bit weak. Alright, so let's see in 42 here. Alright, queen d2. Here. Now, okay, instead of queen takes d4, now, okay, maybe we can check. Knight b1, knight b5, queen d2, queen a4 check, king b2, takes queen c3, king b5, and now c5 is much more stronger. So, but they discover a very nice line for white pieces in this position. So, white pieces are the best place for white pieces is maybe queen on b3, king on b2, and knight on c2. Right. So this is the best place for white pieces. So now actually there's a very good move, which is queen b3 takes knight c2. All right, so let's try in this position. Let's say you play queen d2. Now after king b2, knight e2 is not good because of queen c4. So let's say you play knight d5. It seems good. You defend the e pawn and you want to take the h2 pawn. Right, if h4, sorry, if h4 in this position, then c5 is very strong. Right, so white has to create her own counter threats immediately with queen b8 check, queen d6, and now queen c3. Queen takes h2, queen takes e6, knight e3, queen takes c6. So queen c3 is better, and after king c1, king b1 is not a good move because queen b3, king c1, knight e3. So knight c3 with a decisive attack. Right, if now knight e3, the king c1, knight. If now knight e3, then queen d2 good move. Takes. And yeah, we recall that after knight takes c2, it will be a draw. So knight f1 check. Takes knight e4. And now white can win back one of our pawn. Right. So this position c5 is better. Okay, so after queen takes e6, now I go knight e3. But then queen a2, knight c4 looks tempting, but as has become clear, there's nothing decisive here. Alright, now let's try knight b5 instead. Now the e6 pawn is defended because of this one. Then check. If we can't take. Alright, so queen c4. Then follow queen takes h2, queen takes c6. 94, forcing a transition to a one pawn endgame. Now it's after we trade all the pieces, it's like king side pawn majority, and now it's actually not draw. Okay, so she has to play h4 in this position. Now you want to go queen c2, queen e2, so we prevent it. Queen e2, queen e3, not h5, right? Because after king h7, queen e3. Now we take on h5, it's a free pawn. Or you go king b1, c5, queen c4. Correct. So again, black is better. So you have to go queen e3, and now we go queen g2, queen c4. Now there's queen b3, queen g2, queen b3, c6, and again now it's not clear, and white is already thinking about h4 to h5 with some idea queen e8, I believe. Maybe have some preparatory chances. So it's definitely not clear. Thus, after queen d2, right, we do not seem to successfully strengthen black's position with simple play. So now let's try queen g1 check instead. Alright, so king b2, and again, look through all the possible knight moves. All the possible knight moves. Okay, so wait a second. So knight d1 check would be would be vindicate after king a3, but the king can bravely go to c1, right? There's no there's no discover check. There's no like useful discover check. So there's also interesting defense after knight e2, c4. Again, you can't take because of check, and we win the knight again. So queen c4, okay. Queen takes h2. Alright, so how should white continue here? Now queen takes e6, good move. 94, check. King c3. And black pulls her opponent significantly more difficult problem with knight d5. Now, how does white hold defense here? Let's see. So, okay, there's queen b8 check, king h7, queen d6, which is appropriate with the black queen on d2, is not successful here. So now, because there's queen b6 here. King a3, if king c1, again knight c3, king here, check, check, knight b6. Now I'm gonna go knight c4, here, here, you have to go here, if you go king b2 check. So queen a6, king here, and now c5. Again, now black has some chances, because he did not exchange anything, and now he start coordinate his pieces, start pushing pawn with c4 and knight d5. Alright, so let's see in this position. Wait, just wait a second. So, right, instead of queen b8 check, well, let's see queen c4. Now we take on h2, queen c4 is actually a mistake. Queen takes c6, and now knight e3. Right, again, we've seen this before. Actually, black's just better after trading every pieces. So the e6 pawn is not vulnerable to attack, and black's back in a happy. So let's see about h4, and now again c5, and then just um, maybe yeah, just good for black. So let's see, queen b7 is only, no, I would say not only with the, it's a very nice defense. Maybe black's still better, but queen b7 is a very nice defense. Right after queen takes h2, right? They say it's a brilliant defense, you know. So the idea is after here, now you want to go check here, and now you take the e6 pawn. Right, the idea is after knight e3, now it takes this. So now the difference is our e6 pawn is gone, and now it's not, white is not losing. Alright, so we've realized that, okay, so we have realized that winning the d4 pawns seems like not worth, you know, because it seems like everything, every move white has a defense here. So they finally give up this plan, and they find another brilliant plan. Alright, so now they're thinking about our piece is just good, and which is your worst piece? For black pieces, your worst piece, the king, right? So now they're thinking about king h7, king here, and king here. So now, yeah, they can win it. Sorry, they can win the d4 pawn of like easily, but the problem is it's not clear. They didn't find a winning plan here. Seems like everything white has an defense, has a great defense. So they decided, you know what? Let's bring our last piece, which is the king. Alright, this is actually a brilliant move. Alright, so now he's actually also, he's surprising his opponent. So knight b1 was played in the game. If you play knight c2, king g6, right, there are really no sensible continuation to be seen. You know, we just simply bring our king, knight b4, queen d1, queen a4 check. Alright, so king g6. Right, so king g6 is playing the game. Well, the idea is simple. We want to go king h5, king g4, and king h3. And now we want to win the h2 pawn. After queen b8, there follows queen d4 check, king a2, and now knight b4 check. It's very good and with a decisive attack for black. Alright, so queen d2 was playing the game. And now black agrees to the queen exchange. Why? Because now her king is penetrates into opposing position. Takes king h5. Knight c4 was playing the game. Alright, let's say play knight b3 here. Knight c7. Then we just defend our pawn. If you go king b2 here, king here takes. Again, black is just winning. Right. Right. The main variation of the analysis seems to be the following, right, which is h3 to prevent the king going forward, g5 takes, king b2, and now g4 good move. Right, not f4 because takes, and now knight f3. Now there's no enter point for black. So g4 is a good move. Now, well, just okay. So if h4, then right now f4 work. So takes, king takes. Okay, king takes g4. Right, and now if you play king c2, right, king c2. Right, knight f1 with the threats of sorry, knight f1. Now we play king f3 with the threat of king f2, or king e2, knight h2, then king e2, king f2. Right, just hopeless for white pieces. Right, and king b3 leads to the main variation. So let's see. Sorry. Alright, let's see king c2 here. So king c2 takes here. Now king g2, good move. Right, not f4 because now he got king e4, and not king here because knight b3, f4 again, king e4 is in a zag. Right, so king g2, good move. Right, and so let's see. So after king g2, right? Or just wait a second. So after king g2, well, I'm finding the move here. I can't find the move. Alright, there's no light here. It's very dark. Uh, wait a second. Where's the move? King g2. Try. Okay, I'll just do it myself. So if king c4, let's see. If knight b3, now f4. Now the knight is not covering the f3 square. We can push the pawn. If king e2, now again f4. The king can't go to the e4. So let's see, king c4, and now we go king f2. Not f4 because king c5, f3, d5. And now white have chance to save the draw. Right, so king f2, king c5. If now you go king d3, now we have to check, and now king e2. Right, so king c5, okay, king e2, and now we attack the knight, and now, okay, the knight, you have to go somewhere, and then we just push up pawn. Right, so this is just an easy win. White cannot even sacrifice a knight for the f pawn. Yeah. So, okay. So, in the game, right? In the game, knight c4 was played. Sorry. Yeah, in the game, knight c4 was played. Right. King g4, knight a5, knight e7, knight 2. If knight b7, and now g5. Right, because king h3, knight d8, king takes h2 takes. It's also work, but g5 also work. King h3 also work. So king b2 was playing the game. King h3, king c3 takes h5. Right, if it takes, then we just trade. Right, and then we promote with a check. Yeah, we promote with a check, so it's completely winning, obviously. So king d6 was played. 95. Okay, h4 is actually good. h4 actually win easily, but he not even give opponent any chance to, win his material. So he decided to go 95, takes h4, check, and h3. And it was in this position, white resigned because we simply promote and it's just an easy win. Right, so the point of this game is positional king h7 in this position. Alright, so yeah, because in endgame the king should play active. Alright, so yeah, basically what they say is um knight c3 looks very nice with the idea of just win the d4 pawn and then attack with the weak king. Yeah, the problem is you also have some weakness. Wait, you also have some weakness, and opponent can maybe holding on and defense. So why not just bring the king, right? Just I mean, the material is just fine. The material is just fine. We want to bring our king and then win the game. Right, so yeah, basically king h7 is just a brilliant move, and then turns out that he win easily, not attack. Right, he just bring his king, and the opponent just trade, even just go for a trade queen. Now it's different story. Right, now we trade and then we bring our king. Now this king is just too far away, so just completely winning for black pieces. Yeah, and in the end you win. What is that? So yeah, basically that's the game for today. Right, so I thought this king h7 was a very nice move. Right, it's also a very hard move to play in a real game because I'm sure in a real game I'll just desperate and go for attack here. Either go for attack or just win some material. Yeah, but yeah, this actually just impressed me so much. Yeah, so basically that's all for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and maybe learn something. Yeah, so see you next day. Thank you. Bye.